Yo, y'all, what's up? Thank you for tuning in to Keep Christ, y'all. I got some extraordinary people on here today. Man, we have Jalea Preston,
Hello.
we have Brianna Taylor, and we have Chastity Patterson. Y'all, this is going to be a good episode right here. Man, if you're not from Houston, I want y'all to know, like, these are some basketball legends up here right now. And so over time, we've connected through our stories and kind of our life experiences. And all in all, we've come together and just are pushing forward the kingdom agenda. So, man, just getting straight to it, y'all. Man, your yes. Today, y'all, we just gonna speak on our yes and our thorns and the things that we've tussled with over time, and we just kind of just want to bring ourselves to a vulnerable position for people to know, like, hey, we've been through some things, nevertheless, God, right? So, man, tell me, where was that pivotal point in your life where you surrendered your life and say, okay, God, yes.
You want to go first? I'll go first.
You can go first.
You're always starting me off. God was chasing me for a very long time. And I was just not obedient. Honestly, growing up, I was churched, but I didn't have any like real knowledge of who God was. I knew to stand up and clap. I knew when to praise and worship. I knew the rituals of church. But I just didn't have a deep sense of who God was. And I went throughout high school and college, kind of doing it my way and finding small successes my way, but they were really hard to get, And I think about a year ago, I just got tired of me. Honestly, when you tired of you,
right?
Like I just got tired of me. Like you get tired of having to figure it out on your own.
Right.
And I actually was in a homosexual relationship. That's something that I battled with a long time, probably since I was about 8 years old. So it's 20 years. I'm 28 now. I battled with that for a long time, and I kept finding myself finding the same person in a different woman every time. Like that demon was following me in a different person every time. And so my very last homosexual relationship, after it ended, I was just like, I'm good. I don't want to do that anymore. Like that doesn't feel good anymore. Like nothing about that feels good. And so I was like, you know what? I'ma just isolate and I'ma dive deep into this. Because I had so much time on my hands. I had time for so many other things. And so when I literally killed my flesh and just decided to dive into my Bible daily, like, I think we can all attest to this, like the peace you really find. Like people find it as like, oh, they think you are boring or you don't do anything. It's like, no, I have real joy.
Yeah.
Like I have a real peace.
Yeah.
Going home to my pup, like, you know what I'm saying, with a nice glass of wine. Like I have a real joy here. And so that was really the turning point for me. It was about July of last year.
Yeah.
That's really what did it. Like, I don't even think it was just heartbreak. I think it was just, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, I feel that. I feel that.
I feel like we can all resonate with that. I feel like everybody gets to a point where they're just tired of doing it on their own. And I think that that's definitely my story. I think growing up, like you said, I was churched. My parents, we went on all the holidays, Easter. We went on occasional Sundays and doing all the things, knowing when to clap. There were even times where I was extremely emotional and vulnerable. And I felt like I was really taking the steps with Christ that were necessary. But I really didn't know what that necessarily looked like, what that felt like at a young age. And I think that, like you said, navigating young adulthood is not easy.
Not at all.
It's not easy. And I think in college, like you said, I was in a homosexual relationship for about 3.5 years in college. And it's just funny in hindsight, reflecting on kind of watching or reflecting on my teammates watching me go through this process. And it wasn't necessarily something that I felt like I needed to do. It just felt right. And my teammates watched me just transform. And they would often ask me like, Bree, like, what's going on? And I never felt like I was stepping into somebody else. I felt like I was really becoming more comfortable with who God wanted me to be. And I think that, and I tell people this all the time, trying to conform to something that you're not, like, it's this resistance. It was just this huge disconnect. And so when I started trying to play around with what does what is really comfortable for Bree?
Right.
Whether it was my attire, whether it was just like the way that I carried myself. It was very confusing initially, just my identity. And once I realized that my identity didn't have to conform to necessarily what a human experience may look like, but it needed to conform to who God really wanted me to step into, that's when I became more comfortable with myself. And stepping away from that relationship, it wasn't an easy thing to do because I was just so familiar with that type of dynamic for so long. But I took a year, I would say maybe not a year, maybe like 7 to 8 months. It was right after my relationship, going into my senior year of college. And it's funny because in this relationship, I was going to church. I'm dragging my girlfriend with me to church. And I wanted to stop. I wanted to obey.
That'd be it.
I wanted to
right
be
there.
obedient.
That'd be it right
And
there.
I wanted to practice being abstinent, celibacy, and abstaining from the things that I just know I shouldn't be doing. And that person they didn't quite understand that. And it just felt so necessary. So this internal conflict of how do I carry out this purpose that I know God has set before me, but still trying to appease those around me.
Right.
And I couldn't. And at the end of the day, like the answer was you can't.
Right.
You got to choose. And those around you who truly understand and support your walk with Christ are going to be the ones who support you in that. And those who are not, then those aren't the ones that are supposed to be in your life anyway. And so that was it. It was simply just understanding that who God wants me to be. And if you're not supporting that and the way that I'm going and the walk that I'm walking and this journey that I'm on, then you couldn't be in this life with me. So it was going into my senior year. I got baptized. It was a scary, transformative period of my life because I really felt like this is something that I'm not going to do while I'm in an intimate relationship. So I just took a step away from all of that intimacy. And I really focused on God, ball, and just who is Bree? Who is Bree without being in some type of intimate relationship?
Right.
So
that's beautiful.
I feel that.
Man, y'all, it's like we all had the same experience. That's crazy. Like, like what y'all saying is I can relate to everything. Like, when I was in college, I was in a relationship with a girl, and just what you were saying, like things that God's calling you to do, you can't do that while you're in certain situations. And so I was trying to get her to come and understand. She didn't really believe in like the Bible and stuff. But just trying to get somebody to like kind of understand that like what you believe in, your beliefs, that's like a big thing in like any relationship. Like before you pursue somebody, get to know them. Like what do they believe in? What are their morals? You know what I'm saying? Like what they value in life. Right. And so that was a thing that I dealt with too. But then just like going, I think out of my senior year at Kentucky, where I had a decision to make. I could have came back and did another year for my COVID year. But I was just like, it was a toxic situation. I was like, I just need something new. I felt God pushing me to do something new. So that's when I decided to go overseas. And it was the best thing for me. Like, it was like the peace, like you said. Like when you just buckle down and just focus on God and lock in, it's just like this peace that you can't explain. Yeah. And so that whole journey of being overseas and having downtime, I had a lot of downtime over there. So I was just like in my Bible like all the time. And that's really just where I just got an understanding of what God really was truly calling me to do. And so that's where I found the my second dream. I always thought I was gonna go to the WNBA, play, and God. And
you still should, huh? You still could.
Facts.
Right.
I know, but
look into the camera.
Yeah.
Nah, really, just like I really thought that was like really the goal, like to go overseas, play a couple years and probably just try to get into the league. But God sat me down. He was like, Chastity, the reason that I've allowed you to be so successful in your career and to achieve all the things that you achieved is because I wanted you to get to a place where I was building your resume so you can get to a place to walk into your true calling, which is, I'm training now. I do the training. So he actually called me to come back home and start doing training. And so that's what I'm really passionate about now. So
That's what's up.
It's just crazy how he works out everything so he can really show you like what he's calling you to.
And it's just funny because in the moment, like I was thinking about this earlier, like we was talking about, it doesn't always bring this sense of comfort initially.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you reflect back on it, it's so necessary. And all the discomfort that we think that we're going through initially, it could be protection. It could be him just making you see yourself.
Yeah.
Or like I was telling you, people having conversations in rooms that you're not even in and you're listening in on, and you think that it's him rejecting you or people rejecting you, and really it's just like him protecting you.
Right. Man, one thing about, I don't know if you guys can attest to this, but one thing about God, when he shows you something and you continue to ignore that thing that he shows you, it just progressively gets worse.
Man.
What?
My God.
It gets louder.
Oh yeah.
It gets louder.
Progressively gets worse.
louder.
The signs get worse and
But
worse.
the thing about
Right.
it
He
is,
like, okay, so if you don't not listen, I'm gonna do this then.
Right.
I'll strip this then.
Right. But the thing about it is, if you look at that progression of things getting worse, you have to understand, well, on the other side of that thing, that God is a good father, and you learn to appreciate that progression of things getting worse, because you know, like now, like, man, God, if you had not put me in that place where I was on my butt,
Man.
you know, I wouldn't have surrendered wholeheartedly to you, and I wouldn't be walking out with what you have for me.
Because he's a parent.
Right.
He's a
He's a
parent.
good father.
He's a really good parent. Because like, I even think about this, like, even this generation now, like, I'm so glad my mom didn't let me go everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate that. I appreciate you telling me absolutely no. And I think that's exactly what he does. He parents. Like, and I think I heard this. We look at God as the way that our parents are. So we treat him how we were parented, as if God and your dad or mom are the same. They're absolutely not.
Right.
Which is trauma that we have to get over. But that's something that I dealt with too, is like my dad was in and out. To his, it's Christian maturity, I'm trying. To his, whatever you want to say it. He was 19 when I was born. My mom was 21. She passed 2 weeks after I was born. So he was a 19-year-old single father, and they both were preacher's kids. And so as a PK 19-year-old with a newborn who just lost the love of their life, like, what would you do?
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea what I would have done. So I give him grace in learning, you know, in that situation. But just to be honest, like, the impact is what it is,
right.
You know, and it's something that I'm going through. And I thank God now that I have that emotional maturity to even sit down and have these conversations with him now.
Right.
Because had it been 10 years ago, absolutely not.
Man, I feel that. Let's talk about how hard it is to navigate through a generation. Okay, let's talk about how when you've come into that truth that you've encountered by the Spirit of God, how hard it is to navigate those who've not yet encountered that truth.
Oh, they want to call you a Bible thumper.
Man, I've heard that.
Or
one.
I was just having this conversation with my hairstylist.
Boring.
Like, people continue to ask me.
It's boring.
They say it's boring, it's not fun, and those things, but they want to ask you, "Are you okay?" Like there is something wrong
Absolutely.
with you. Right. like you're going, like, of course we're all navigating trauma, we're all navigating adversity and things of that nature, but it, like you said, it brings this unexplainable peace. If I'm not in my Bible every single day, if I'm not in the Word, if I'm not listening to a podcast, if I'm not worshiping him, then I find myself further away from him.
Yeah.
And when I'm farther away from him, then I know that I am going to respond to all the things that my flesh wants.
Absolutely.
And I have to continue this engagement with him. So it's not necessarily that I am navigating this adversity and I'm so just down and out and depressed and miserable. And it's not that. It's simply like I am abiding because he brings me this joy, because he loved me first, because it's just who he is.
Right.
It's in his nature to be loving and kind and gentle. And I am, like, this is the least I could do.
Right.
This is the least I could be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when I tried to, I didn't even tell you about this today. Like last night, I'm like reading about Joseph.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like, this man and his gifts, and he's interpreting these dreams, and I've been having these weird dreams lately. And so I knew I would have another weird dream. And so I had another weird dream last night, but the dream wasn't about me. It was about someone else, and something terrible happened to like someone else that they knew, but I was seeing the dream. And so I text her and I said, man, you were in my dream last night. Well, we started off the conversation with something else.
Yeah,
So
small
small talk. Let's build up to it. You was in my dream last night. And she goes, you were in my dream too. And I'm like, what?
Man.
What? Like this is, and I don't like no coincidences. There is a reason why I'm reading about Joseph last night, and I'm reading about his gift to interpret dreams. And I have this weird dream, and you're in my dream, and I'm in your dream, and I'm having a dream about somebody that you could save, somebody that you could save. And I don't know these people, but I know I'm supposed to have this conversation with you. And so it's just that the way that things are working now, the way that I'm able to perceive life, the world, the way we maneuver in this world is totally different than I would have, than I perceived things 6 weeks ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so different. And I understand that he's putting us in these positions and he's holding our hand through these walks of our lives. And he's putting all this adversity in front of us. And he's doing all these things for us to live out his word. I know that now.
Yeah. Because our view of fun is worldly. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Like they've advertised you have to have drink, you have to have some type of drug, it has to be this type of music in order to have fun.
They want you dependent on that.
Yeah, because I need to sell it.
Right. Nah, that's spot on. And the thing about it is, even by you saying you having that dream and you basically acting on that dream, what it all comes down to is how you're feeding yourself. You're saying, well, if I'm not reading my Bible, if I'm not worshiping, if I'm not doing this, my day don't even go good. But it's not only that, it's you sensitizing your spirit to hear the voice of God.
Absolutely.
Right? A lot of people say, man, I don't know what God's voice sound like. You know what I mean? How do you know when he's talking to you? Well, if you filled yourself with things in your ear gates and your eye gates that sensitizes your spirit, you won't be able to hear God's voice because it's so small and still. You know what I mean? And so it's so important that, man, that we take that time and abide. You know what I mean? And a lot of what we live in a time now where it's inconvenient for us to sit with God in our day.
Yeah, hustle culture.
You know, we want to...
Absolutely.
That
Man.
grind culture.
They've made it almost a crime to rest.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not resting, you're not doing nothing. Like, if Jesus himself rested.
Come on, man.
I'm going to rest.
I was going there, but you took it.
I'm going to rest.
Yes, come on.
If Jesus rested,
If I'm trying to be like Jesus, I should be doing what he's doing, right? Like,
yes.
And it's insulting for us to be like, no, I can't when Jesus did.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
And
because why can't we if he did?
Seriously.
The Savior
and he was
of the world.
100% man. 100%. And he slept
No,
in a storm too. Like, he slept when he
But
needed
he had the
to.
discernment too. He recognized he was tired.
Absolutely.
He recognized it and said, let me just chill here for a second.
Yes. If we're not careful, it could even create this form of pride within us to think that we can go about our day without touching with God first.
That part.
You know what I mean? Like, I cannot touch with God before I touch with my day. I can't go to Walmart without God.
You hear me?
Let alone throughout my entire day.
You hear me?
And it's that important. Like, you got to be like, regardless of what I put on my agenda for today, God, I'm touching with you so that you can protect me throughout whatever it is I plan for my day. My agenda don't matter when it comes to you.
It's those people who say, like, I don't have the time to stop and pray. Nobody's saying you necessarily have to stop, get on your knees, and pray. Now, if you do, that's something different. Yeah. But it's just this constant dialogue that I'm having with him, like when I'm going about my day, like all day while I'm at work, while I'm engaging with kids, while I'm
all the time. It don't matter what I'm doing. I'm talking to God.
I'm talking to God.
Like, God, like, help me with this.
Right.
Like, even like for me, the most I really do that. Like when I'm playing basketball, like at our games, bro, I be talking to God. I'm like, God, give me the strength.
Yes.
Like,
I
need it. You know?
Yes.
I'm tired. Look. But anything, like it could be anything. Yeah. I want to piggyback on what you said with finding time. It's a lot of distractions nowadays in the world. Like, I realized that when I was overseas, I didn't have a lot of distractions that I do when I'm back home. Because I got a lot of people, you know, that I can, like family. Like, I didn't have all that. It was just like me and God. And so now that I got a lot of people, you know, and it's a lot of distractions just being back home. So you just gotta really like discipline yourself. That's why I was talking about the discipline. Yeah. Waking up, doing the devotionals. Yeah. Stuff like that. And so that's what really like the things I think is just distractions.
Man.
Life is so much. It's just so much.
Yeah, but God gonna be like, come here.
He gonna be like, come
Watch
here.
this.
But why is it that like
when
we say we're super busy, the first thing that we take away is God. We take like we don't go to like I'm not gonna go to church this Sunday. Okay, I'm not gonna pray right now. I'm not gonna engage with him. But we do all the self-care. Let me get my nails done. Let me get my hair done. Let me go.
That's legit.
It's all this like what they say like meology. Like I'm gonna focus on me, and you remove the thing that you really, really need because that's consuming too much of your time.
Man, that's it. That's it. Because even when it comes to, I think we've talked about this, man, the story of Mary and Martha, right? A lot of times, because I struggle with this, I've struggled with doing so much of the work that I forget to sit at the feet of Jesus, right? Because doing the good work isn't a bad thing, but it is when it comes above you sitting at the feet of Jesus and hearing what he's saying. You know what I mean? And so a lot of the times we can get caught up in, okay, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it's like, nah, man, God, I hadn't even sat with you today because I need that pouring into.
Right.
You know, I'm no good to even dish out what I'm trying to if I'm not sitting at your feet first.
That part.
You know what I mean? And so that's so important. And sometimes we just get caught up in, man, I gotta be here, I gotta be there, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I say this all the time, like, even your loyalty to people should not trump your obedience to God.
That part.
Right? Because a lot of times, like, man, I gotta show up for my family. I gotta be there. Man, if God say no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not personal, but it's personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God got to be the priority, your first priority over everything in your life. So
yeah.
Well, it's a cheat code. Like, like it really is. Like, I thought about this. I was like, if you get a brand new phone and you don't know how to work it, who do you go talk to? You go talk to Apple. You go talk to Steve Jobs. You figure out. You read the manual. Figure out the inner workings of it. So why wouldn't I talk to God?
Yeah.
He know what's going. He know what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I consult him at the beginning?
Yeah.
I'm just walking around just on my own strength. That's crazy.
Man.
That's crazy. When you really think about it, like, you really walking around with a bookmark on your head saying "attack me."
No, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the devil is not omnipresent. Like, he can't be everywhere all the time. So he's just gonna bookmark you because he know where he gonna keep you in your sin because he know where to come back to.
No, seriously.
So if you just go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, that's good. That's good because we don't even know that we actually make ourselves more vulnerable to be deceived, right?
Absolutely.
Like, deception is at an all-time high right now. What looks good ain't God.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we've lost sight of what the truth is, and we're not measuring what the world seems as truth. We're not measuring it up to the word of God because everybody got their opinion on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Too many voices.
It's too many.
it is.
And the fact of the matter is, man, what does the word of God say? And a lot of people be, man, we ain't got to bring God. People don't want you bringing God and everything.
don't.
But the fact of the matter is, you have to bring him in everything. You literally have to bring him
Like,
in
he's
everything.
literally on the money that y'all are so working so hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't get hustle culture. I really don't get that. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't get it because it was me at one point. But I just really didn't have, I knew he was somebody.
Right.
And I knew he was around. I just didn't think he was around for me, if that makes sense. Like, I had so many things happening to me, like, over the course of time. Like, I lost my brother, I lost my grandfather. Like, they got diagnosed with cancer within a month of each other. Like, it was just so much happening. I was like, this can't be the God that y'all talking about. Like, no. Because this is not happening in my life, you know? And then, like I said, I found small successes. But I think back, like, how I was really walking around with no sense, like, just blind to all of the warfare that was going on around me. Like, it's happening 100% of the time. And people, like, we was talking about it, like, people like, it's that deep? It's that deep.
It is that deep.
No, seriously.
It's always like life or death. It's that deep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to sing praise every time I open my mouth.
I think what's so hard for some people to really rationalize is that, like, and I don't have those type of experiences. I mean, we've all lost someone, but I've never lost someone, knock on someone, that close to me.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry that you had to experience that. But there are people who they internalize it and they see it as, well, if God is omnipresent and God is the end all be all, then he gave me that pain. God did that.
Watched that happen.
He made that happen.
Right.
Not only that he watched it happen, but he made it happen. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't know if God is giving us all of this pain, but I know he uses it. I know he uses it for his sovereignty.
Yeah.
And his plan is not going to be thwarted. Like, even though you're experiencing pain and he may not have given it to you, he'll still use you. He'll use it and he'll use it for his will, for his purpose. And he'll do that through you.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Man, that's good. That's good. It goes, and what it goes to is, his thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways are not our ways.
Right.
And so what you have to rest in is knowing, okay, God, I know you to be a good father, right? So although I see this thing, I see what has happened in my life as a way that hurts me. I know that you love me enough not to intentionally try to hurt me, but to better me even through this pain that I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because even when I lost my dad, you know, I was praying for God to heal him, you know?
I was just finna say that.
You know?
Pain taught me how to pray.
Yeah.
Because you can pray wrong.
Right. And what God showed me was, and I've spoke about this before, what God showed me was I healed him, but in the way that was on the other side and not here. You can't determine what the answer of your prayer looked like. You know what I mean? In the end, if we truly believe that there's another life after this thing, we should be rejoicing. When they die in this earthly place and they make it on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm always saying. This is not for us. This ain't for us.
Yeah.
We trying to get somewhere.
We going somewhere after
this. Is just this side of heaven. We trying to get over there. And so it is really hard to rationalize that when we lose people who are extremely close to us. I understand, because that love, that connection, that type of bond and chemistry that we have with them. And it is hard to rejoice when they pass on, but we have to know that they're going on to something perfect.
Man. Yeah.
This ain't it.
Yeah.
It's not it. Yeah. It's perfect over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
You know something, that just showed me something too, is like, because I wrestled with this. I was like, did I make an idol of my brother?
That's deep.
Did I make an idol of him? Because when I after he got diagnosed, it was my sophomore year in college, and I started calling him my why. Well, why do you go to school every day? My brother, he's sick, he needs me. Oh, why do you play basketball? My brother, he loves watching me play basketball. This is what's keeping him alive. This is what's making him fight, him being able to travel and watch me play basketball.
Oh man.
Like
That's heavy.
On my graduation cap, it's me and him, and it says my why.
That's weighty.
That's heavy.
So, yeah, like could I have done that? Could he have did 10 things in one? Like, yeah, I stripped him from you because you were making an idol of him. Also, I needed him for something else because he just showed you something.
Yeah,
his death just showed you a lot.
Yeah,
which was the bowling ball.
That's good.
That just gave me chills.
It did me too. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you.
Like, but it also made me think about, and not to be insensitive to your situation, because this is not what I'm about to say don't really have nothing on that. But I get kids, we all play basketball, that has connected us. I had posted something someday that said, and I say this all the time, basketball is not life. And I got so many responses from kids saying, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And I said, you know what? And I went on a podcast, I want to say about, I don't know, 3 months ago, earlier this summer, and I said, this is my ministry. This is my ministry. And I don't want to say I recant that statement, but
I'd like to revise it.
But I would like to revise it. This is not my ministry. And I love that I'm able to do this, and I love that I have this platform to do so. But my ministry is just living out his word and trying to bring people closer to salvation. Right. And I'm able to do this through basketball. And they don't understand that I don't live for this game. This game, if you took this away from me, if you took my voice away from me, I can't remember who I heard say this, maybe, I don't know who I was watching, Elevation Church maybe. And he said, if you took my ability to speak, if you took my ability to dribble a basketball, if I became paralyzed today from the neck down, I couldn't train, I couldn't coach, I couldn't talk anymore, who would I be? Who would I be? And so basketball is not my life. It's not. And I am so fortunate that God has gifted me, and I'm trying to steward these gifts that he has given me in a way that brings people closer to his word. And if not, I can't do that, it makes them better people. That's what we talk about on my team is, I put it on my board last week, what is your why? What is your why? And I don't want it to, don't tell me because you want to make it to the league. Yeah. Don't tell me because you want, you know, like, don't tell me anything about basketball. What is your why? How is your heart posture? What are you doing? How is your ministry? As I asked him, because like, how are you? I said, and I texted them this was the follow-up question. I know that you guys were telling me what's your why, but I asked you, how is your ministry? And I couldn't get any responses to that. Y'all were like, what's this language? What does she really mean by that? And I said, well, how are you as a daughter? How are you as a friend? How are you as a girlfriend, if you're a girlfriend, if that's how you identify? How are you in all those aspects of your life? And are you able to deliver the word, be a good person, and bring people closer to salvation through that? That's how I'm asking you, why I'm asking you, how is your ministry? Right. Because if you're just, I'm one way here, right? But now I'm gonna go to this party and we gonna have a good time.
Right.
Right.
Bumping Boosie leaving the church. Yeah, leaving the church line. Exactly.
The validity of it is distorted at some point. Like the integrity of it is not strong.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you because I said, consider it. You don't have to give me a response. Just consider, how is your ministry? And I find myself asking this because now when I'm having these conversations with my parents, for example, my dad is a retired vet. He gets great benefits. So anytime that there's something going on with disabled vets around the city, he gets notified, he'll go get it, whatever it may be. So at this one time, it was like, hey, we giving out all this food downtown, and we live in Tomball. And so he was like, all right, I'm gonna go get this free food. You know what I mean? So he calls me and he's like, I'm so angry. And he was like, I know I should be thankful. I know I should be grateful. And I'm like, okay, so now we're having different conversations. Yeah. Whereas he would have just called me and vented about he wasted gas because they gave him a box of granola and a couple cans of beans and some canned water is what they gave him. So he's like, I just wasted gas for this. And he stopped himself. And he was like, but it's more than what I had. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what's in that house. It's more than what I had. Absolutely. And I said, exactly. So when I think about how's my ministry, no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means. I have so many setbacks, but I want people in my life who are going to drag me back to the cross. And I want people to understand now when you're talking to me and you're bringing me your problems, I'll 100% listen to you. Yeah. But we not going to stay there.
No, that's
because I'm solution based.
Come on.
We're going to find the solution.
And that's only so long. I'm going to pat your back, but it's only so long.
You know what I mean?
It's only so long. That's so good, Bri. I always I actually tweeted this maybe a week or two ago. I was like, how would you introduce yourself if you couldn't use your titles? If you couldn't use I'm a coach, if you couldn't use I'm a teacher, if you couldn't use, how would you introduce yourself to me if you couldn't use all the things that you deem are you?
That's good.
Nobody can give me an answer. Nobody got an answer because it makes you think like, okay, who am I really?
It's just what you do.
Yeah.
That is simply just what you do. It's a means to an end. You're a coach. Okay, well, this is helping me steward these relationships so I can get these kids. It's a vehicle. I am using it to get these kids to secure their future so their parents don't have to pay for their school, to set them up for success later down the line.
Amen.
Yeah. Like you being a coach, and I said this, like people think, oh, I gotta win. If you look up the definition of coaching, winning is nowhere in the definition. So if you define yourself by how many wins you have, then you can't tell me that you're actually a coach.
Yeah.
Very true.
You can't tell me that.
I had an AAU parent coming to me and say, what's your win-loss column? I was like, I've been coaching for 10 years. I have no idea.
No clue.
I have no idea.
But I can tell you my kids are better than when before they got to me. And I'm not putting that on me. I put that on him.
Absolutely.
I put that on God. Like this is God and God.
Man, that's so good. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, understand, what if you do get that D1 scholarship? What if you do go to the NBA? I mean, what if you do accomplish everything that you set out before you, right? What if I do get you where you want to go? If I've never introduced Jesus to you, I would have failed. You understand?
You disservice. Absolutely.
Failed.
Do you understand? Like, sometimes we unintentionally idolize those roles and those things.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, it's all Jesus. Like, God has given you that position.
God.
For a reason.
A greater reason, right? Our gifts, our talents, all to draw people to the kingdom. Not even to please ourselves.
Yeah. Even down to us being Black.
Yeah.
Like it was very, very, very strategic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I couldn't imagine being on my way to the pearly gates and then somebody I knew saying, why you ain't tell me? Why you ain't tell me, bro? Like, you ain't say no. I was around you for 5 years. You didn't say nothing.
Now you gatekeeping.
Yeah. I would throw up. Literally. I'm hurling chunks.
Lord.
That would make me sick.
You know, when I got this job, so I just took this job. I just moved back to Houston. Y'all know that.
Welcome back, Bri.
I'm glad to be here. Breath of fresh air. And it's just, oh my gosh, y'all getting me to play. All the things we got to unpack at some point. But when I took this position, because people saw optics, right? This is a good program. These are some really good kids. They're all gonna go off and play D1 at some point, or they'll play in college or something. So as I'm coaching AAU over the summer, some college coaches would come up to me and be like, congrats on your new position. You worked so hard for it. You earned it. You this, you that, you that. And I found myself in like like we're going back and forth because I'm like, no, it's God. No, but you worked really hard. No, but like I'm just thankful to for him to be blessing me like this. No, but you worked so hard for this and
Trying to
but
puff you
I'm
up.
like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Come on.
I don't know what
Look
I'm
at the
doing
devil
for real.
tempting her on the
Yeah,
mountain.
like, I
No,
don't
but
even
you
know how
can,
to
but
say
you
that.
go high, you can fly. Go
I'm
ahead.
like, we going back
call
and forth.
that.
I'm
My
gonna have the last
goodness.
word because it was him.
But some people will
Absolutely.
call that false humility.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how many times I hear that? I'm like, it
Like, well,
actually
she
makes
doing
me
too much. She can't take it.
uncomfortable
It
to
does.
receive the glory.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable to receive like
much,
praise for
yeah,
something
too
you
much
know
praise.
was nobody but God.
Exactly.
I don't know what. Look, I tell people I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, no, you do, and you, no, I
Yeah.
I am underqualified.
Yes.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
I am
Ooh,
that feeling.
trash. I am
That
trash.
feeling.
Like,
at
I'm
what?
trying
heart.
to tell you. Boy,
No,
oh
I
boy.
am not qualified for this. Yet I'm here by His grace,
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
baby.
Man. Ooh, that's good.
It really
Yeah,
Because
is.
every day, and man, that just make you appreciate the goodness of God when you in fact have acknowledged that you are unworthy.
Unworthy.
And a lot of the
Mhm.
times you hear people saying, you deserve this, you deserve that. We in fact deserve nothing.
Nothing.
We deserve hell. Let's just be real
Exactly.
about it.
I should have been gone.
That's what I'm like. I don't
Yeah.
understand how you read the book and think
We
we deserve to be here.
that we are just.
But God is gracious and He's merciful. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, man, we gotta always just stay in that position of just humility and reverence to Him. Because sometimes if you allow that praise and those things to puff you up, man, you start getting a place where you start thinking, man, maybe that was me, and that is not a good place to be.
Mhm.
At any point where praise start feel good to my flesh, I know that I have to pull away from people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh,
Mhm.
people are praising me, and I like the way that feels. And when I know that is happening, I literally have to pull away from social media. I'm like, ooh, God, I don't like that.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah.
And so, man, let's talk about how y'all, even in coming into the faith,
Mhm.
how you gonna tussle. Like it's literally it's a war, a spirit and a
war,
flesh
man.
war.
Yeah, it get harder.
Especially
Like-
when you find out like what God called you to do.
Hey.
It's like you got a target on your back for real.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
for sure.
Like I really learned that when I started, like when I came back from overseas. Like once I realized, like, God, you placed me on this earth to be a servant, to serve others,
Mhm.
and do that through basketball.
Mhm.
It's like it's harder to be obedient
Mhm.
on a consistent basis and
Mhm.
stuff. So yeah, spiritual warfare is definitely real.
Man.
Like, I feel that every
And
day.
then when God expands your territory, understand too much is given, much is required.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I've said this, like, your decisions don't just affect you anymore. It's like, oh, even though I'm tussling with flirting back with this girl, it's like, ooh, that's too much blood on my hands. Like, it's not even worth it.
Mhm.
But this temporary satisfaction
Mhm.
is like, ooh, it's not worth all that you, like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? And you really genuinely start, like, feeling the heart of God. You know what I mean?
Because when you truly love somebody,
You know,
It don't make-
truly,
you
like,
do what
truly.
pleases
It's
them.
like,
Exactly.
it's like,
You
ooh,
can't
like it's
sin the
not that. It's
same.
really not that hard. Yeah, it's really not that hard once you really love somebody. Like it's
Man.
really easy to conform to what they want to do.
man,
It makes it now. It makes it harder.
yeah,
Now, don't get me wrong, because it's a choice that we make. Like just in any marriage, you wake up and you choose to love that person. I wake up and I choose to be in this marriage. I wake up and I choose to be in this marriage with God. I
Yes,
wake up
that's
and I
good.
choose to be in the faith
yeah,
because naturally my flesh wants to do something else.
right,
And it's really hard to walk contrary to your flesh every day. I understand that.
Yes.
I'm killing it day by day.
Killing
And
it.
I'm gonna mess up. Not if I mess up, I will.
yeah,
Because naturally that's just me.
yeah,
But I have a God who has grace.
yes,
And I have a God who cares
yes,
and who knew that it would happen and had a plan for it already. And that his doors never close. He will never turn his back on me. He will never say, you again. Like he will never do that. He will never turn his back on me. So I can come running with my hair on fire every single time.
yeah.
And I don't have no shame in that.
I feel it, man. I think for me, it's that, you know, like those days of agony where you know you've been intentional in everything that you've done. And it's like, why am I still feeling this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I still, like, the fact of the matter is, like, it's that war between your spirit and your flesh, but nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that, God, I feel like that I'm so intentional with you.
Yeah.
Like, why am I still coming up short? But the fact of the matter is, he wants you to constantly appreciate, like, I'm a merciful God, I'm a good God. You know what I mean? And I got so caught up in, not to say that striving after being in alignment with God is a bad thing. Like, I want to be obedient to everything that you tell me to. You know what I mean? But if it gets to that point where I'm like, okay, check, check. And God is like, Krishan, you've missed it.
Yeah, you're doing works.
You're
because it's like a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like you checking boxes on, okay, I didn't took the trash.
Yeah, got the flower.
About the flower.
Yeah. And
I kissed her.
And that's when it comes down to, that's when I had to learn, okay, God, it's by your spirit that you're going to lead me and guide me. And even when I come up short in meeting my expectation, it's by your spirit that you've granted me grace to forgive me. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times it's hard for me to forgive myself when I come up short. Honestly, truly. I'm my biggest critic. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like one time, y'all, and this is how serious it is for me. God is working. Like one time, y'all, and mind y'all, I have not cussed in a long time. I slipped up and cussed. Y'all, I was godly sorrowful. Like I was back there in tears.
You stepped on your puppy paw.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Yo, seriously. I was like, I'm constantly condemning myself. Like, oh my God, like, how did I get back here?
Yeah, he said,
where did they come in?
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, my girl, relax. And I just but he was showing me like, there's a level of forgiveness that I have to even grant to myself. A level of grace that I have to grant to myself. He's still working on me with that. I've come far. But man, it's just really appreciating, like, this is why my son died. Absolutely. Because I knew you would fall short. Yeah. And so I'm still soaking that in.
And it's like what I sent y'all the other day when he said, the Holy Spirit didn't save me. He's saving me.
That's good.
Yeah.
He's saving me.
It's
and
a
that
daily bread.
with me so much because I might get in trouble for saying this, but my team and I, we have talks about God often. And I know that you're not supposed to in the public school.
Honey.
But we do. We go in that locker room and we talk about Jesus.
Period.
And for some reason, and this is crazy, them kids been there for some of them 3 years, 4 years, most of them, and they couldn't get in their lockers one day. So I was like, all right, well, I did a little Bible study last night. So let me pull out my phone. And we were talking about endurance. And it's just crazy how every single day my kids walk in, they're like, endure. And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
And we started talking about how like anything that God is going to give us it's going to require patience.
Absolutely.
It's going to require patience. And we use that as an analogy, or we use basketball as an analogy for where the Spirit is taking us collectively. And we talked about how some of y'all feel like I'm still on varsity and I still can't make this layup with my left hand. I said,
right.
It is a process. And you're going to do this. We do this same drill every single day. Give it 3 weeks. Give it 4 weeks. Give it 6 weeks. And I can promise you, you're not even going to be thinking about, can I do this with my left hand anymore? Absolutely. You're going to be thinking about the contact that's coming. You're going to be thinking about, can I do this Euro step? You're going to be thinking about all the other factors because that is now your foundation. And I said, we have to embrace endurance. We have to embrace endurance, just like we have to embrace the journey of becoming one of the best teams that we want to be in the state. It is all going to be a process. We're not going to walk in here just because y'all did this last year, this coach is here, and now we're automatically better. Just because you opened up your Bible today and just because you worship a little bit on the way to school doesn't mean that you're automatically just without sin. Like you're going to be this perfect.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Absolutely.
I said, you have to embrace endurance. So we're talking about embracing endurance in life. We got to give ourselves grace. Understand where you are and where you're going so you can't get off track. But when you do, we're going to hold you accountable.
Right.
When you do, somebody is going to hold you accountable.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to use that in every aspect of our life and understand that just how I'm extending you grace, but the hardest thing to do, like you said, is give yourself grace. Can you give yourself grace? I can pat my teammate on the back and say, you got the next one, but can you tell yourself, I got the next one?
And really believe it.
And really believe it. Get back to it.
Yeah.
And do it again. And do it again.
Yeah.
Hey, that's crazy you said that because in the game, I remember you always telling me, like, you good, Chaz.
Yes.
Like, come on, you good. You always always extending that grace.
You're like, man, shut up. I'm not good.
Yeah.
Cut that out. I'm not
Man.
good.
I'm telling you, he just made me that way. Like when you said fake humility, no, this is just like, it's just who I am.
No,
It's so
facts.
easy for me to give this
Yeah.
to other people. And like you said, we're in the game and y'all get down and I'm like, we got it. We're down 20 points. Come back, win by 1.
Yeah.
We got it.
We good.
We
We
good, no matter what. And that's how I feel now. Somebody asked me today, how are you doing? I said, I'm going to be good no matter what.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Because you've learned to suffer well.
I know I suffer well, but I'm suffering with him.
Mhm.
I have to understand that I have to suffer with him.
Yes.
That's good.
And we are running away from suffering.
yeah,
Oh,
you
that
want to
part.
suffer, you better suffer on the right side of
On the
things.
right side.
Yeah, I rather
Don't suffer without
because the
him.
suffer without, the suffer without.
Because you're going to suffer either way.
No,
Yeah,
The
what
suffering
choose your
will not
heart.
be-
Choose your heart.
Nah, that's
It's
good.
hard to be fat. It's hard to be in shape. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to be rich. Choose your heart.
No, that's good. That's
It's
good.
Like-
Man, that's good. Man, and people don't want that.
No.
People don't want that. They want the genie in the bottle God.
Yeah, but it's popcorn. Like this generation is popcorn. We need instant gratification right here and there, right? Like
But you got to think about
TikTok
what
is
happened.
7 seconds. Like
Exactly.
it happens like that.
you. It's what's happening in the church too. It's what's happening with what happened with COVID. It's all the elements of things that have really truly removed suffering from the sermons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they want to talk about your breakthrough.
Yeah.
They want to.
I think you know what? I think COVID did that. I really feel like COVID did that. And the reason I say that is because people were in their houses getting those checks, like just living life. Everything was fine. Your breakthrough is coming. And then COVID ended
Breakthrough.
and you had to go back to work and the country didn't care anymore. We don't want to hear about our breakthrough.
And not just that.
Teach me how to suffer well. This hurts.
They don't know how, because think about how everybody, at some point, 9-to-5s are going to be extinct.
Oh, nobody
Don't
wants to serve.
Nobody wants to work for anybody. So
Yeah.
how do you, if you can't work for anybody, you can't work under anybody. How can you serve under somebody?
No authority.
I don't want to, because I don't want anybody making a schedule for me. I don't want anybody telling me what to do, when to take a lunch break, how
do you
don't
expect
have
to
any
do that?
practice.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's best practice.
Heavy. That's so heavy. I was just talking about that with somebody the other day, where people don't want to serve other people when in fact Jesus came to serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was washing
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
He was actually washing the feet
Washing some feet.
of the disciples.
But we want people to serve us. If you truly desire to walk in the way that Jesus walked, then you're called to serve.
Yeah.
Everybody don't want to serve. Everybody want to be pampered.
Did you get up on that cross though? If you didn't get on the cross,
Man,
let's not talk. Let's talk about something else.
Oh man,
Let's talk about something else.
Oh, that's good.
man,
It is what it is.
man.
It's the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You should just work for yourself. You should, and you're doing a great job, sweetie.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing great.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's everybody. It's the rationale behind it. It's like, absolutely, if you have a gift and he told you to do that,
That
and
part.
you live that out, baby. But if you only want to work for yourself, by yourself, because you don't know how to work with other people, I just don't work well with others. I don't want to sit in the office and sit behind a desk. I don't want somebody making my schedule. You got to answer to somebody.
No,
Right.
seriously.
You always have to answer to somebody.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Right.
And that's not even us, like you said, like clowning entrepreneurship. But if you're not serving, even as the head,
Yes.
then you
That part.
just craving power.
Servant leadership. Servant
Man.
leadership.
That's good.
Mhm.
Man, y'all,
Both.
that's oof. Y'all
I
getting
know.
some
Dang,
stuff.
we've been talking about almost 50 minutes.
I know, time
Go
moves
for
fast.
it. I know.
Time move fast, man. So even where you guys are in your lives right now, what would you tell people, like, what keeps you intentional, what keeps you disciplined, what keeps you consistent? Like, how would you go about just encouraging people to put that in their day?
First, you have to really want to know Christ. I think it starts there. It's not an aesthetic. You have to really want to do this. Just like playing any type of sport, it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sacrifice your body for it. You have to really want to know Christ.
Absolutely.
And I think once you have that that hunger to really want to know Him, things will just kind of fall in. I know for me, I didn't start off right away just like reading the Bible, diving it. Like, it was gradual. I listened to a podcast and then I read a verse, and then before I knew it, it consumed my day.
Right.
Because the God that I thought I knew, that's not at all what I'm reading. So it's almost like discovering a new parent, like a parent that you've never known before. Like, oh, he's really like this? Oh, that's where that story came from. That's what my mom was talking about. Like, you start to piece it together, and it really became fun for me, honestly, to start learning, like, oh, I know, now I know me. Because I think a lot of my life, I wandered not knowing exactly who I was. So I just kind of bounced around to what I thought people expected of me. Like, I was a people pleaser. People expected me to get all A's. People expected me to play really good basketball. People expected me not to talk back in class. So I did those things out of expectation, not because it probably was who I really was. So as a word of encouragement, I would just say, first you need to make sure or understand that this is not something that's going to make you feel good. You do not come to Christ to feel better. The word is a sword. It will cut you up. So if you really want to get better as a person, you really want to walk like Jesus, and you really want to know Christ, that is a everyday decision. He is my daily bread. I come to him daily for it. So I know I sound a little, but that's for me. Like, take it little by little, and really want to do it.
Yeah.
Really want to know him.
That's good. I just want to quickly touch on what you said. Like, I didn't even know who I was. And we, in fact, know that we are made in the image of God. So unless you know him, you will never fully know who you are. You want to know more about you, you better learn who he is. Because we are in his image. So that was good. I had to touch on that.
I appreciate
that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ree? What you got?
I just made me think about, to piggyback off of what you said, choosing God every single day, our daily bread. And even furthermore is every moment of every day. Because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I pray, devotional. I do my 5-minute gratitude journal, and I'm great. And then somebody cuts me off in traffic. Like, you know what I mean?
That quick.
You be like, that quick. My daughter, she yanked her ponytail down. Like, it is literally choosing him every single moment of my day. And it is asking the Holy Spirit, partnering with the Holy Spirit to give you that discernment, to make a conscious effort to choose him.
That's good.
You know what I mean? And to continue to piggyback off of what you said, it's a good book.
Yeah.
Like,
no, seriously.
Yeah, that book is so good.
Like, your dad read a book.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Talking about comedy too. Comedy too.
That's what's like, you think
right
you
now?
Yeah, you think you funny?
Yeah.
You think you funny?
You're funny.
Where you get it
Open
from?
that Bible. Because God is actually like hilarious for real.
He is. He said, is it me, Jesus? He said, don't play with me, Judas. Don't play games with me, Judas.
He got a story for every situation.
Yes.
Every situation you go through, he got a story.
I have a
for
story
it.
for that
for
too.
real.
And you're talking about primitive, baby. This has been happening since I created the world, like everything. Since
You're
the
not the
beginning
first
of
one.
creation.
Exactly.
You're not the first. You're not the last. I got a story for that too. And I think it's what you sent me. People have this platform on social media to share everything, and to use their platforms. And so we all have this platform. Why don't we tell share your testimony?
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think what's really good is seeing myself. When I can see Chastity, when I can see Jalea, when I can see me on social media and saying, he delivered her through that. Because I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah.
We need more of that. And it's, it's hard when I watch, no offense, but like an older white man, I'm privileged and I did this and now he's delivered me, when I don't identify in that regard.
Right.
But when I can see me on social media and you're going through this and you're going through that, and oh my gosh, I'm a basketball player too. I battled homosexuality too. You live right here in my neighborhood. I know her. You know what I mean? When I can see myself.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. What you got for us, Chaz?
I would just say, choosing God daily. You gotta die to your flesh, and that's the hardest thing. Like, coming to God, He's gonna expose everything that is not of Him.
Yeah,
and so you gotta be able to take that in and say, okay, like, I gotta get rid of this stuff, and if I really want to go deeper with God, and so that's just one of the things I'll say. Just embrace that every day and just pursue Him, get in His Word. That's really the main thing.
That's good.
I think make sure you're convicted about it too.
Yeah,
because somebody else's convictions might not be yours. Like, God convict you to stop cussing, He's still working on me.
He's still working on me.
I still cuss a little bit. I do. So,
Man.
and I think we have to be very careful of that too. Like, we don't want to just do works and think that, you know, God doesn't want us to enjoy life. I was talking to my mom about this earlier. We was leaving church. I was like, if God don't want you to enjoy nice things, why did he describe heaven the way that he did? He's living very lavishly.
Lavish, baby.
So
Nice over there.
he wants you to enjoy things, you know, but you know, it say drink, don't get drunk. In moderation. Do what he's telling you to do.
Right.
But that comes from being close to him.
No, for real. Nah, that's some good stuff to chew on.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff to chew on. And mind you, just to capitalize on what you said, everybody is held accountable to their own convictions. You know what I mean? Some people, like you said, drinking is not necessarily a bad thing. Me, I don't drink because I know where it takes me.
That part.
If drinking is going to put me in a place that God is taking me from, then I'm not going to partake in it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so it's just, man.
Also, if I know you deal with that, I'm not going to drink around you.
Exactly.
Because that's,
I'm not going to invite you.
if I'm community, right, and I'm supposed to be your sister in Christ, I'm not going to invite you out and I know you don't drink.
Yeah.
But
Man.
we not real friends.
Man, and we'll end stepping on that, man. Community. Getting around people who hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That's big.
You know, even when they tell you the stuff that you don't want to hear. Know to the character and core of who they are. They are not saying this for my harm. It's because they love me. It's because they care for me. And so get around some people who lead you in the direction that God is calling you to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Y'all any last words? Y'all good in?
God is good.
God is
I'm grateful.
God is so good.
We
I'm grateful.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
For sure,
thank you,
for
thank
sure.
you.
I appreciate y'all, your obedience, your boldness, your vulnerability, and all of the above. So, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping into Keep Christ. And we hope that there was something said that will edify your spirit to, you know, draw closer to God. So, all right. And that's a wrap.